I have to imagine that you can achieve a certain catharsis or therapy when you get to play characters because you get to live the life of a person that's not you. I was curious what the difference is between the catharsis that you achieved early in your career through your characters versus now.
I think that catharsis you're talking about happens when you, early on, I really got a different range of roles to play. And that in itself is very cathartic. You know, if you can inhabit a character that's completely different from the last character you inhabited, and the next one is completely different from those two, and you can keep going like that. And I noticed that for a few of us, I boldly include myself, in that De Niro is a case in point for me. In his early days, you only knew he was De Niro because they said this is Robert De Niro. If you saw him on the street, you wouldn't recognize him, you know, from a character he played. You just wouldn't do that. I remember one time on stage, I was playing a wino, and I had to go through the lobby to get to the stage. They wouldn't let me in the theater.
What?
So, no, I'm one of the characters on stage. Oh, that, you know, that's like a high point. That's something to remember.
You know, I want to share a story with you. My grandmother's 97 years old. She lives in a nursing home in Williamsburg, Virginia, Yorktown, Virginia. And we get on the phone every week and she'll recommend a movie to me. I'll watch it, she'll watch it, and then we'll get on the phone and we'll discuss it. And we've been doing it for a while now. We recently did it with Fried Green Tomatoes, Jessica Tandy, a bunch of different movies. But so the other night I'm on the phone with her and she's like, hey, Kevin, have you ever seen Driving Miss Daisy? And I said, actually, that's one of the classic films I have never seen. And so she said, Kevin, I want you to watch it and I want you to come back and I want to have a discussion about it. I'm like, well, Grandma, guess what? I'm talking to Morgan Freeman on Thursday. I will mention this to him. So I wanted to ask you before I sit down and watch that film, what should I look out for? What memories come to mind about that movie?
Well, what comes to mind is that I played the part on stage in New York for 11 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a wonderful play. And I remember going to Playwrights Horizon to see another friend doing a show and saw the blurb on the bulletin board about what was coming up that season. And Driving Miss Daisy was one of those blurbs. And as I really turned around and said, who do I talk to about getting involved with this play? And of course, it was just a question thrown to the wind. But about a month later, 2 months later, my agent called and said, do you know anything about a play called Driving Miss Daisy? I said, yes. He said, well, they want you to come in. There it was. I didn't have to audition.
Wow. Wow. And then you made the movie and it was a classic with Jessica Tandy years later.
That's another thing too, because normally stage actors don't get to play the parts that they created on stage. Yeah. And I knew they weren't going to let me do it, but apparently they couldn't find anybody else. I know they tried.